Hi, my name is Autif Kamal, and this is episode 33 of Be Logical. Now, the United States Postal Service has a major financial problem. I'm going to lay that out for you in a few ways. After I do that, I'll explain some methods that the USPS has for raising their revenues and reducing their costs. Now, first off, there are a total of 31,272 post offices in the US, and only about 6,000 of them make enough revenue to cover their costs. I'm getting this information from David Leonard. He wrote the article, "The Post Office Returns to the Local Store," and he writes for Businessweek. Now, in 2011, the USPS had a $19 billion net deficiency. A net deficiency refers to a devaluing of the USPS assets. In 2012, that jumped to a $35 billion net deficiency. Okay, I'm getting that information from the United States Postal Service. The name of the article this was in was "The Year in Review, Financial Highlights." Now, in terms of their net losses, which is how much their expenses had surpassed their revenue, from 2010 to 2012, it went from $8 billion in net losses for 2010 to $5 billion in 2011 to $16 billion in 2012. That's how much their expenses had surpassed their revenue. Okay, so from 2010 to 2012, it doubled from $8 billion to $6 billion, or $16 billion. Now, in May 2012, the USPS had announced that they were going to reduce the hours for 13,000 rural locations, and that plan would be completely implemented by September 2014. And basically, the details of this plan would be that 9,000 of those 13,000 locations would be reduced to 2 to 4 hours per working day, and 4,000 of those 13,000 would be reduced to 6-hour workdays. Okay, and I'm getting that information from the website is the Government Executive. The person who wrote this article was Amanda Paleschi. The name of the article is "USPS to Begin Cutting Hours at 13,000 Post Offices." Now, something to consider here is that the standard working hours for a day for a United States Post Office is from 8 or 9 a.m. to 4 or 5 p.m. So that's about 8 or 9 hours per working day. So that's going to be reduced to 6 or to 2 to 4 hours. Okay. Now, an idea that the USPS will implement is what's called a village post office. They're doing this to offset the hours that are being reduced at those 13,000 rural locations. A village post office is basically postal services that are offered in a convenience store, a library, a hardware store, a coffee shop, and so on. They could do simple things like sell packaging, do flat rate shipping. They could have like postal mailboxes for rent, or they could do all the services of a post office. But then that'll just mean that it'll require that much more training, that much more federal regulation that they'll have to abide by. And yeah, my guess is that they would have to pay the USPS for whatever supplies that they need, and they'll also have to pay for the training that they would get from the USPS. Those are my speculations, which I think are pretty reasonable. Now, by this summer, there will be 300 village post offices. There's going to be more. I'm not sure exactly how many they plan to establish, but there will definitely be 300 of these village post offices by this summer. Now, the advantages to having a village post office is the obvious is that there will be there will be more hours because of those village post offices. It's definitely better than having no village post offices as opposed to just reducing the hours of 13,000 rural locations. I'm not sure exactly how long a village post office will be open, but my speculation would be that it would be open for at least the minimum number of hours that any standard post office would be, which is for 2 hours. So my guess is that they'll be open from anywhere from 2 hours per working day to however long the store hours are for the store that they're contained in. Another advantage of having a village post office is now that you do not have to, if you need to make a visit to a post office, you don't have to stop at a separate post office location to utilize postal services. So say for example you're stopping at the grocery store and you need to mail a package. Now you don't have to make a separate stop at a post office to do that, to mail your package or to access your mailbox. You just do it while you're getting your groceries. Or let's say you're getting your morning coffee, same deal. Right after you get your coffee or before you get your coffee, you can check your mailbox or deliver your letters, purchase your stamps, and so on. Now, the obvious disadvantages to having a village post office in any of the aforementioned types of locations is that some stores will definitely be busier because now customers will be spending extra time delivering their packages, accessing their mailboxes, and so on. Or they might be going to like coffee shops or grocery stores just for the postal services. So now no matter what, these locations will be busier. And yeah, that's how the USPS is dealing with the reduction in hours of 13,000 rural locations, which I think is, for the most part, pretty positive. Alright, thank you.